You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real as Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. You can make this possible.
This new bill is weird, y'all, out of Florida, okay? It supports the settling of disputes over students' gender through a physical examination. The Fairness in Women's Sports Act states requires that certain athletic teams or sports sponsored by certain educational institutions be designated on the basis of students' biological sex. It prohibits athletic teams or sports designated for female students to be open to male students. It requires that student school or student school or institution, as applicable, resolve disputes regarding students' sex. It requires the State Board of Education to adopt certain rules, provides for civil remedies and damages. This means an institution can request documentation from a student's health care provider that verifies the student's biological sex. The bill also gives a student's school permission to request a routine sports physical examination of students' reproductive organs, genetic makeup, or testosterone levels. LGBTQ advocates argue the bill is discriminatory and could expose students to physical and sexual abuse and trauma. I have said to several other people, Teresa, that we dealt with the transgender bathroom bill, and that was repealed in North Carolina. It was repealed in Indiana. Conservatives pretty much backed off of it. You're going to see a lot more of these bills. When it's tied to sports, people are going to have a different attitude because of how crazy and deranged they are. I think this right here, this bill is going to go to other states. This is the next cultural flashpoint for the far right.
Yeah, I mean, I think the LGBTQ plus community needs to continue to fight for their rights as it relates to equality across the board. I think this bill will be interesting to watch. I think there is I'm not entirely sure I agree with the physical examination, by probably a physician, either on site or off site. But most of the conversation that's been happening is, these families are feeling like their child doesn't have a fair, ability to get into the school of their choice because of the sports team. And so, again, as the LGBTQ plus community is trying to make a headway, they have to remember that there is decades of, just equality issues all around. So continue to fight.
Xavier, again, when we start talking about sports in America, all these folks, they think that everybody think the kid is going to go pro. This is going to be one of those hot button issues. The right is going to try to knock the left over the head. It's going to be a question of, if you're a Democrat, do you support it? Or are you against it? Trust me, I see where this is going. Watch other states pass similar bills.
Roland, didn't we just see USA Swimming, their scandal with the sexual assaults and that particular issue? Didn't we just see this in Michigan State gymnastics? And even so, one of the officials involved even killing himself. We've seen the right attempt to say, stick to sports. But here they are getting involved in sports and then couching it under women's rights issues, knowing darn well they don't care about women when they're trying to inflict issues on their reproductive parts and taking the agency away from women in terms of abortion laws. And so we're seeing it is an expansion of these cultural wars that the right is having, thinking that the fever from the population and the people that support them are going to bring their butts to the polls to be able to support them in 2022 and 2024. This is all laying the groundwork for the white grievance that they are continuing to push on, whether it's Mr. Potato Head, whether it's Dr. Seuss, whatever they're doing. they're influencing in terms of how people think and how they're going to vote to be able to buffer up the amount of people that get up to the polls. This is just increasing the enthusiasm. But what we saw in North Carolina, like you talked about earlier, Indiana, the pressure from the sports community pushes back on this as well. So we also will see this as, on the other side.
Bottom line is this here again. I think what you're seeing is the right is always about the cultural touch points. How do they rev up their white conservative evangelical base? They see how the economy is doing very well for President Joe Biden. Trust me, we're going to see more hot button issues being pressed in order to get that white conservative evangelical folks out to vote for the midterm elections next year, Michael.
Yeah, you're right about this, Roland, because Republicans really aren't doing anything when it comes to fighting coronavirus or when it comes to the economy or when it comes to helping, raising the federal minimum wage to $15 an hour. They're not doing anything there. So they're going to push something like this. Now, in reading this, what's very interesting, Roland. Now, number one, you have dozens of similar bills like this trying to be pushed through state legislatures. This one goes further because now this passed the State House of Representatives already in Florida. This one goes farther because it allows inspection of genitals. But in reading this, it's called the Fairness in Women's Sports Act. It bans transgender female athletes from competing on women's athletic teams in both high school and college sports, although transgender male athletes may still compete on either team. So I don't even understand that. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense for a number of reasons. So, but once again, this is Florida. And Governor Ron DeSantis will probably sign this into law, okay? Just like he is pushing this anti-riot bill. Okay, because of the Black Lives Matter activists, he's pushing that as well. So, this is going to be another culture issue, just like gay marriage was a culture issue. They can't say they're let's be honest, Roland. They can't say they're the party of family values anymore. They can't say after Donald Trump and after Sugar Daddy Matt Gaetz, they can't say they're the party of family values anymore. So they're pushing these different culture issues, trying to win votes and trying to maintain power. I don't think it's going to work, though. It may work in Florida, but across the country, it's not going to work.
Well, all right, folks, back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment.
It's time to be smart. When we control our institutions, we win. This is the most important news show on television of any racial background. Y'all put $2, $3, $4, $5, $10, $15, $20, $30 on this and keep this going. What you've done, Roland, since this crisis came out in full bloom. Anybody watching this, tell your friends. Go back and look at the last 2 weeks, especially of Roland Martin Unfiltered. I mean, hell, go back and look at the last 2 days. You've had sitting United States senators today, Klobuchar and Harris. Whatever you have you can bring to Roland Martin Unfiltered to support it, please do, because this information may literally save your life.
Watch Roland Martin Unfiltered daily at 6 p.m. Eastern on YouTube, Facebook, or Periscope, or go to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered Daily Digital Show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Our goal is to get 20,000 of our fans contributing $50 each for the whole year. You can make this possible. RolandMartinUnfiltered.com.